Title: The Cult of Shadows. I remember the moment the laughter turned into an echoing bat of shame that cracked me in two. I stood, trembling, before my family, clutching a stack of research papers that detailed the insidious connections between ancient insect cults and modern ecological disasters. "I'm telling you, it's all in the larva," I insisted, my voice shaking. "There's a reason they were worshipped. They bring plague and ruin, but they're also—" "Stop! You sound insane!" My brother's words sliced through my desperation. My mother's eyes were wide, her brows knitted in a blend of concern and disdain, as my father shook his head, muttering under his breath, "You'll disgrace this family." In that moment, something fragile inside me broke, shattering like glass. That was years ago. Years spent disconnected from the warmth of family gatherings and the embrace of acceptance. I had become their warning, the pariah who had ventured too far down the rabbit hole. So I dove deeper, burying myself in a world where bugs weren't just pests, but agents of terror. My obsession became my lifeline. Months turned into years, each filled with the secretive whispers of cults long forgotten and the horrors they unleashed. I had made myself a conduit to the past, absorbing their dark knowledge until it seeped into my veins. I became an expert in cult insectology, a field so neglected and ridiculed that it barely existed outside my own mind. It was there I uncovered the truth. The plagues we feared weren't new. They were ancient curses, carried by the very creatures society deemed inconsequential. My redemption arrived not in accolades, but in dread. I began to document my findings, to expose the horrors I had unearthed. The academic world reveled in my revelations, and suddenly I was no longer a disgrace. I was a beacon of dark knowledge, a warning of the very horrors I had survived. Standing before my childhood home now, I felt the weight of years pressing down on me. The house loomed, dilapidated but familiar, a fortress of memories laced with mockery. I was here to confront my past and show them what they had so readily dismissed. They welcomed me with the same cautious disbelief they had shown years ago. Their eyes, a mixture of nostalgia and skepticism. "You really think we should be listening to a bug fanatic?" My brother's voice dripped with condescension, and I almost faltered. But I had learned that fear was a tool, a weapon to wield with precision. As night descended, I spread my findings before them. Maps of cursed territories, photographs of grotesque insect infestations, and chilling anecdotes of the plagues that had lingered in the shadows of history. Their laughter faded, replaced by an uncomfortable silence as the air grew thick with unease. And then the shadows twisted. It began with the tremors, slight at first, like vibrations surfacing from the depths of the earth. My family exchanged glances, uncertain, as I pressed on, revealing stories of insect cults that had once thrived on fear, their grotesque rituals alive with the hum of swarming wings. That's when the lights flickered. I could see the disbelief melting into horror as the shadows grew, stretching across the room like hungry fingers. "You think this is a game?" I whispered, my heart racing. "This is real. You mocked me, but the forces I faced are here now." Suddenly, a low buzzing filled the air, building into a cacophony of shrieking wings that reverberated through the walls. The temperature plummeted, and I watched my family huddle together, eyes wide, their laughter stripped away like a skin beneath the weight of truth. A curtain of darkness unfurled from the corners of the room, and in it danced grotesque figures, an amalgamation of insects that pulsed and writhed, their forms reminiscent of the grotesque illustrations I had studied for so long. They emerged from the very depths of the darkness I had once traversed, and I felt the pull of their power, the connection that had consumed me. "Do you see now?" I asked. my voice a fervent whisper laced with a newfound resolve. Every scream you silenced, every laugh at my expense has brought you to this moment. You thought I was insane, but I've embraced the truth. And now it's time for you to confront what you dismissed. They recoiled in terror as the first of the shadowy figures lunged forward, revealing glistening mandibles and eyes like black voids. My father screamed. My mother covered her face with trembling hands, and my brother stumbled back, his bravado shattered. The swarm enveloped them, not with a violent assault, but with a slow, consuming dread. They were paralyzed, unable to flee as the darkness coiled around them. I stood at the edge, a spectator to their realization. It was then that I felt it, the weight of vindication coursing through me. I had faced these horrors alone, and now they consumed the very beings who had cast me aside. I had survived where they would falter, and I had become something more than a mere scientist. I had become a living testament to the truths the world feared. As the figures retreated back into the shadows, leaving my family breathless and trembling, I turned toward them. I'm not the insane one anymore. The shadows you mocked are now part of you, and they will never forget the laughter. I left them there, bound by their disbelief and their fear, their cries echoing through the annals of my mind. The house faded into the night, but the knowledge I carried burned bright, a dark crown upon my head. As I stepped into the moonlit night, I knew I would carry the weight of what I had uncovered, entwined with the bittersweet taste of vindication. The horrors had come home, and the world would never forget what they had mocked. They would now become the vessels of their own fear, trapped in a web of their making. There is no escape from the shadows, I thought, as I walked away, knowing too well the price of disbelief.